Good evening. Good evening and welcome to the Junior School 2018 Parent Information Night. A particular welcome to all our new families to our college and our staff for 2018. My name is Mitchell Kelly and I am the college captain for 2018. I now call Lachlan, who will be leading us in Welcome to Country and prayer this evening.
We pause to remember the uniqueness of this place. We honour and respect the generations of the Tharawal people who held the land in their dreaming. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Lord, your Marist community gathers here now for prayer. We call on you, Lord, to help us to be people who will be sincere in our care for each other, authentic in our apostolic work, and open to you, like Mary in our prayer. May we be welcoming to each other and all who visit our community. May many people we know respond to your call through us and commit themselves to the Marist way of life, given to us by Marcel Champagne. We make our prayer through Christ our Lord. Saint Marshall and Saint Champagne, pray for us. Mary, our good mother, pray for us. And let us always remember, in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
Thank you, Lachlan. To open the evening, I now invite Mr. Miller for his opening address.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome, and it's great to see you here in such great numbers. I was just reflecting on tonight and what tonight was all about. The fact that many of you know I'm finishing up at the end of next year, and they always talk about the last meeting, the last term, the last class, that sort of thing. Let's reverse that tonight. This is about the first information meeting for the new junior school at St Gregory's College. Very historical in many ways, the fact that next year we are a K-12 college. It's never happened before in the life of the college. You are the firsts, so you can feel very proud of that. You are really very much a part of history with it as well. When I think back over the last 2 years, as you know, originally we were going to be a K-2 school and we'd run the 6 classes and that is how it operated. Then we decided, no, we'll drop that and we'll move straight through and open up a K-6 school. A number of people on a council we're responsible to didn't think that could possibly happen. But the fact that we had so many enrolments and the fact that we were able to put up a K-6 school and then put up the house full sign after that, we've let that message get back to the council and they're very impressed. Joel had to go and speak to them last week and tell them what's been going on at the college. And the feedback I got today was they were very impressed with everything that we've presented. The fact that we've got this school up and running for next year, I know some of you might doubt that when you look at the buildings, but believe me, you're all good Catholics, we go with the faith, okay? It will be open on day one. But the way this has worked out for us, the fact that we've had to go through the Board of Studies, we've had to be registered, we've had to get a lot of things in place for next year, and Joel's done an amazing job with that. They did ask me at one stage, if you don't have enough people to get the operation going, what will you do? I just said I'll hire someone else and we'll keep the thing going, so there'll be 2 or 3 people doing it. But in credit to Joel, he's done the whole thing by himself. And I think that's been amazing. I think the other good thing is, as you would appreciate, we had a lot of enrolments, and kindergarten, unfortunately, we couldn't take everyone, and we've got a long waiting list there. In the other year groups, we had to close them at, I think it was 26, and second class is a bit different because of the size of the building. But once again, we had to close off books there, and unfortunately, we had to say to people, you have to miss out, which was very unfortunate for them. But on the other side, you're here tonight, you're part of the college, so you'll be in that first group of K-6 that go through. The other side of life, and I thought it was a very good thing, was when we advertised for staff. We knew there'd be a lot of conversation out there about the staff, and we feel very blessed that we had over 95 applications of people who wanted to teach your sons and daughters. The fact that we had to sift through that number, then we got down to 16, then we got down to the final 8. And I feel very fortunate and blessed to think that we've got 8 very enthusiastic, experienced people who will be able to take on your children next year and look after them. When I talk about the fact that they're all very young, you must appreciate young as a relative term, me being the oldest in the room most probably, everyone is younger than that. But their energy and their enthusiasm of what I've seen of them so far looks good for the future, and especially to lead your children. Once we employed those 8 people, then we moved out and we looked at teachers' aides, we looked at people for the office, and that has worked out very well for us too, because we had numerous applications there. Again, we sorted through those, and we really feel we've got some great people in those positions as well. As some of you would know who have a connection with the college, I've even lost my own PA. She's going over to the junior school. But from my point of view, that is a very positive experience for you, because she completely understands the culture of what the college is about. She knows how I operate, and she will take that experience over there, and I'm sure that will just enhance what happens over in the junior school next year. So I think we're very lucky to have that in place as well. Also, we've been very fortunate with the junior school. The fact that many of you who are old boys of the college would know the brothers used to be here. The brothers these days are really confined to the brothers' house. Brother Ernest is still around, and he meets the boys on their birthdays and learns their names. But that's most probably about the most contact we have with the brothers, except when we have the big masses down here. Now, we're very fortunate that Brother Peter Carroll, the provincial of the brothers, decided that we should have a brother in a junior school. And Brother Paul Bailey is joining us, and he's been at St Michael's at Daceyville for the last 9 years. But he is coming down, and he will be part of that staff over there. And at one stage I was a bit worried about it, because I think to bring the junior children from that side over to our chapel could be like a day excursion for some of them, going over and going back. But when we tested the water with Brother Paul, and I said to Joel, we really need to talk to Brother Paul on the side and say that he needs a bus licence. Lo and behold, he actually had one. So I was very appreciative of that idea, Paul, so that's really good. But I think in general, when we look at what's happening, it's very historical. I think next year is going to be a great year. My hopes and dreams for you in coming along and joining the junior school is that you will have the same experience that we have on this side of the road. Our reputation as being St Gregory's College is very strong out there in the district, I know that. People are very happy with what we do on this side of the road and the opportunities that are offered. And I would hopefully replicate that for you over on the other side. I won't say any more, I'll leave you with that. But I will be around, I will be part of the junior school. I won't just sit on this side of the road. Joel will be running the junior school, Matthew Brennan will run the senior school, and I will go between the two of them. So when we have functions, yes, I will be there. It is St Gregory's College, K to 12. It's not 7 to 12 and K to 6. It is one college. And from my point of view, that is very important. The new person who comes in, and that should be announced in a couple of weeks' time, who will take my place in 2019, that will be impressed upon that person. I'll guarantee that side of life. Just before I finish, I'd just like to introduce 2 people. Joel will introduce everyone else. But I'd like to thank Mrs. Kathy Clark. Mrs. Clark is standing down the back there. She's our Director of Missions. She's come along tonight to welcome you and be part of the welcoming here tonight. And you would have met Mrs. Sue Dean, who's down at the back door. Mrs. Dean is our Parent Liaison Officer, and we do various things like parent forums, and you'll hear more about those as we go. Those who are parents on this side of the road already know what the parent forums are. We are going to do the same thing with the junior school as well, just at a different time and a different day. But once again, it's a fairly exciting time, I think. The fact that you will have a K to 6 school, we've looked at the sporting side of it as well, because many of you mentioned that to us. I've already been to IPSO meetings about what we're going to do for sport on a Wednesday, so your children are very lucky from the point of view they will be involved in the IPSO sporting competition on a Wednesday, but they also get the opportunity to go through the diocese for the various sporting things they do there. And as you would know, we talk about public speaking, debating, music on this side of the road. Same thing's got to happen over there as well. So once again, welcome. It's a very historic night for us. You are very historic people, and I'm sure your sons and daughters will have a great time at St Greg's. So I'll leave you with that. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. I now invite Mr. Weeks, our head of junior school, to deliver his address.
Having a problem with my little clicker there. All right, thank you. Thanks for having me. It's an exciting time. It's the first time that we've had our junior school parents all come together at once. I know we've got our staff here tonight who are really excited about meeting the little ones on Thursday. They're busy preparing in the background, having discussions with one another, planning their first experiences and what they're going to actually be doing with your sons and with your daughters. It's a really exciting time. Thank you for having your faith in us. Damien spoke about building that school and our Marist world having doubts, but you as a community coming together to actually be our inaugural parent community, your sons and daughters being our inaugural student body, we're really excited to be a part of that. As you know, we're very big on community involvement. A couple of weeks ago we had our parent workshop, and initially Damien and I sat around and thought we were having 2 or 3 parents around a coffee table. We only had a couple of people wanting to come along. After Daniela put out her expression of interest, we had something like 60 or 70 put their name down. On the night, we had about 80 parents come along. And I know, looking out, many of you in this room came along and put your contribution into that. And we value that. Thank you for that evening. It was exciting to actually talk about things that really matter, and reporting and giving feedback to you about how your son or how your daughter is actually going next year for us is really important. So we value that night, and thank you for your contribution. I want to thank the staff coming along tonight. It's a very big time of year. For those teachers in the room, reporting season is tough. Getting reports, making sure they're done right, providing feedback to parents, it's a taxing time, and having a night like this halfway through that makes it quite difficult. So I want to thank staff for coming away from their families also. The purpose of this evening, in a moment I'm going to introduce the staff to you for the first time. They're excited. I know many of them outside were saying, is that my parent, is that your parent? So we're excited to actually be a part of it, and they're actually excited to actually meet you in due course. A building update. I know Damien says keep the faith. I've got the faith as well. We're going to be ready in 5 weeks' time. I'm going to show you a few photos in a moment. These photos have happened over the last few weeks, and here they are. So, as you know, we've got 2 building blocks. We've got Block A, which is our administration block. The builders keep telling me that each day there's cars driving by and seeing how they're all going. The administration block is looking good, and we've got a second block, which is our classroom block. Now, our classroom block is 2 stories, 8 classes. We've got 4 classes downstairs, we've got 4 up. In the middle of each block, we've got a big open space. So wet areas, we've got sinks, and we'll have some collaborative furniture in those particular spaces. So when parents come along or kids are getting learning support, that's a nice, comfortable area for them to be in. Nice, bright colours. See, it looks like a junior school, looks like a primary school. It's exciting. There'll be lots of colours inside as well. It's engaging. Brand new car park up front. Plenty of room for days when we have grandparents' days and special events, which is all happening next year. This big open space here is, at the moment, an undercover area. In time, that was going to be a part of our extension, and it will come out even further. That'll be a part of our big library. Once again, it's 2 stories. And we've got a little breakout room or STEM room. Now, the one in that picture up there, it breaks into 2, basically. There's 2 breakout rooms, obviously surrounded in glass, and there's 1 upstairs and 1 downstairs. So the year 3s to 6s will occupy 1, and the Ks2s will occupy the other. This is our big breakout spaces in between the 4 classrooms upstairs and 4 downstairs. Nice big spaces. It's kind of hard to see at the moment. It looks like quite a construction zone, but that will be carpeted. It'll be nice and neat, and it'll be a great space for kids to break out of classes in. Another side view there of our classroom block and toilet block, that brick wall that's nicely architecturally shaped by our architects. That's our toilet block. And then we've got our undercover area at the front of the school. Many of you have been driving past, you'd have seen that go up over the last few few weeks, and that's our canteen block there as well. Now, in terms of canteen, we're going to trial things and see how it runs, but in the first part of next year, we're only going to be serving lunch. So Alliance, who run our secondary school, they're actually going to be transferring lunches over to you at the junior school, and that'll go through Flexi Schools. So in your information pack that you'll get before you go, there's some information about Flexi Schools and how you can actually order your son or your daughter lunch. Admin block. So admin block, two parts to it. One where you're actually going in from the car park, so a parent entrance where you can actually go in, and the other side is a student entrance. So if they need to come to sick bay during class time or need to come into the office from when they're playing, there'll be another entrance for the junior school kids. Lots of glass, nice and bright, it's open, and there's another example there of those teacher spaces or teacher offices at the back of the room there, and open space. A lot of the cabinetry has started going in over there. These pictures were taken a couple of weeks ago now, but over the next few weeks we'll start seeing those spaces carpeted. We'll see that the painting has already started happening over there, and the builds are really going quite quickly over there at the moment. Every day you go over there, you see 40 to 50 cars over there and lots of men working very busily over there, so it's exciting to see. Now, Damien's already alluded to it. We've got a staff here that are very enthusiastic, very passionate. Damien and I, we invited them in many weeks ago now for an afternoon to talk about vision, where we're actually headed next year, what our plans are, and then to have a dinner afterwards. A few days later, after we've had our evening, had our day, we thought, great, that was a great start. We'll see them again start next year. Got a group email from them saying, we want to come back and continue our chats. And as you can imagine, schools, they're busy places, but to come from another school where they're busily working to actually come and have another staff meeting in another school, it talks heaps about what these staff are all about. They want to get prepared for next year. We've had afternoons where we've spoken about literacy. A 1 hour meeting that was meant to kind of frame where we're going turned into a 3 hour meeting where I had to kick them out the door. They're excited, they're passionate, looking forward to working with them. We've spoken about vision with them. Many schools have a plethora of goals upon goals. We're going to achieve this and this and this and this and this each year. We're going to keep it simple next year. We're going to achieve 4 things. And we're going to call them our high leverage strategies. And you'll hear me talk about them a lot. The staff have already heard me talk about them numerous times. And it's things that we're really important, but we find really important, that we're actually going to make next year a success. The first one's standards. Now for us, standards, when you think about the St Gregory's graduate, you think about the St Gregory's child, what do you think about? You think about kids who leave the school as fine young men, boys who behave, boys who are respectful, boys who treat adults with respect, boys who know how to behave in certain situations, staff who have high expectations of students. It's all about standards. So for us, getting our standards right early on is going to be really important. And it's something that we actually make one of our goals for next year. Number 2 is all about the way we communicate, our communication to you. Those who come along to the reporting workshop many weeks ago, we spoke about Seesaw, which is a way that we are electronically going to deliver you feedback about how your son or daughter is going in class, the things that matter to them, the exciting things that are happening in the classroom, where you can actually see on your mobile device quickly. Events that are coming up, you'll be communicated with. Regular updates, meaningful updates. Communication for us, if you get communication right, it actually makes and breaks schools. So communication for us is number 2. 3 is relationships. Something I'm really passionate about is actually getting to know your children. Your staff want to know your kids. Already, they've got a little information pack about who your son or who your daughter is. Just from the small amount of detail we've got from your reports, small amount of detail we got from the enrolment interviews, they've all got it. They've already started working out who's who. The only thing they don't have is a picture of what your son or daughter looks like yet. That's coming. So the process has started. And as I said earlier, they're actually really excited about meeting them for the first time this Thursday. And our fourth, and a really important one to us, is literacy. Literacy is one of the cornerstones of what a good education system is all about. It's one of the big things that the staff will know I've been talking about already, how we actually do it and how we do it well. Schools that do it well are consistent. They put a plan in place and each teacher is talking the same thing. Schools that don't do it well have an up and down outlook on how they do it. There's different jargon in each classroom. The students learn one teacher, then the next year they learn a different teacher, then they learn a different teacher again. It skews results. So literacy for us is really important. We'll have a strong focus on literacy development. We've hired Rachel Cosentino. She's our teacher librarian. She's also going to be our literacy specialist. It tells us that Damien has a big focus on literacy next year. I have a big focus on literacy next year, and having Rachel with us is going to be a big stepping stone in us getting the literacy approach right. It's about balance, learning successes, success criteria, learning intentions. We've spoken about all this already. We want our kids talking each day, writing each day, reading each day, listening, and making it regular. And one thing that we spoke about that we have all agreed to is uninterrupted literacy blocks of a morning. You walk into schools are busy places, and seeing them being interrupted daily by different things that are happening in classrooms really takes away from good literacy practices. So for us, having that uninterrupted literacy block is going to be really important. All right, it's time. I'm going to start meeting this staff. What am I going to do? I'm going to ask the staff just to come up on stage. We're going to introduce you. I know Mrs. Limbury, she's getting all excited. She's ready to come up. So introducing our kindy team this year, or next year, we have Louise Limbury, who is going to be our kindergarten teacher, KL. And we've also got Laura Fuller, who is going to be our KF teacher. So Louise is from St John's. She's passionate about music. She's going to be leading our choir next year. She's got a few boys herself who are going through St Greg's. And Laura is from St Clair's. She's currently teaching kindy over there. She's an amazing artist. I've seen a few art pieces of Laura's, and she also likes to dance. Stage 1, Year 1 and Year 2. Come on down, Miss Jennifer Wheeler. So Jennifer is in Year 1, and Ashley, come on down. Come on, let's go. So Jennifer is in Year 1. She's from Mother Teresa over at Westmead, formerly from Tara Anglican School also, and she's very passionate about literature, so she'll be a great asset next year. And then we've got Ashley. Ashley is from Marion College in Horsley Park, very visual also, loves the visual arts. She's passionate about children and faith, and once again, another asset to our school. Stage 2 teachers, so we've got Jodie Hillhouse in Year 3, and we've got Benjamin Fuser in Year 4. Jodie is from St Clair's, previously spent 10 years in Melbourne, mainly at St Kevin's. Jodie has a little Year 1 boy starting in Year 1 called Oscar, and she's an active parishioner down at Mary MacKillop also. And we've got Ben. Now Ben is from St Catherine of Siena, out at Preston's. Now here's a contradiction, he's a dancer and he's also a rugby coach. There you go. So he's going to lead our dancing next year, which will be fantastic for the boys and girls, and he's also got a few sons also. Stage 3, our Year 5 and Year 6 teachers, so Mrs. Diana Ivancic and also James Hayes. Now Diana is my 2IC, she's my right-hand lady. She will be the junior school coordinator. Her son actually finished here last year, Bailey, in Year 12, and she'll be on Year 5, and Year 6 is James Hayes. James is an old boy of the college. He will be our Ipsos sport coordinator next year, and he's coming to us from St Justin's at the back of the school here at Oran Park. Okay, we've got a few specialist teachers. Can I call up Brother Paul Bailey, who is looking at IT support and learning support, so he's very passionate and very into helping kids who are actually struggling readers, struggling writers, so once again another asset to us in moving forward. Look at the unison, they're beautiful, aren't they? Rachel, come on down, Rachel Cosentino. She comes to us from Bexley, and she is going to be our teacher librarian and also our literacy specialist. So I've kept my slides on there. Now, Rachel has a passion for critical literacy. She loves enrichment. It's a passion of hers. And once again, as I said, with our focus on literacy next year, She's someone who will be really looking forward to having with us on staff. Julie McGovern, come on down. Julie McGovern will be coming to us part-time next year. Julie is coming to us from St Luke's in Revesby. She is a parishioner at Mary MacKillop, also at the back. She has a little daughter called Polly starting in kindy, and her husband Michael is in the high school. Give us a wave, Michael. Thank you. Then we move to our teacher aides. Now, our teacher aides, we've got Mary Ellen Hayes. So Mary Ellen, she's coming to us with 11 years experience, 13 years also in preschools. She'll be on KL with Louise. We've got Christine Lowe. It's Christine. Christine has been working for 18 years, working in teacher aide roles and volunteering in primary schools and in preschools also, and she loves softball and dance. Janine Orton. Come on down, Janine. Janine's got a few sons herself, really passionate about beginning reading, and she's done a lot of work around mini-lit and multi-lit, which is really exciting for us. And then we've got Rachel Tweedy. Rachel's a current parent of ours with a son in our high school. She's got 10 years plus experience as a teacher aide. She's got 3 kids herself, and she's worked in mainstream and also in support units as well with aiding the teachers. Now, I know Damien alluded to it before and actually welcomed. We've also got Sue at the back. Give us a wave now, Sue. She's come to the side. Now, Sue is our parent liaison officer. We'll see Sue next year in our parent forums. And we'll also say Kathy Clark. Give us a wave, Kathy. And Kathy's our Director of Mission from K to 12. Daniela Romeo, come on down. She's excited. Now, Daniela, as many of you know, she is currently Damien's PA. He has groomed her very well. She knows exactly what she's doing, and I'm glad to have Daniela coming across to actually help me out next year. She's been a wealth of support already this year with me. And Jana. Jana, come on down. Jana will be the face of our college down in the junior school. So in terms of the administration, Jana's coming to us with 10 years or so experience in administration roles, and she'll be the face of our college. And when you come into the office or give us a call, more than likely Jana will be the one that will be picking up that phone. Now, many of you have met Sandra. Now, I'm going to introduce Sandra shortly, but Sandra, just give us a wave. Sandra, if you haven't already come for your uniform fitting, she's sitting at the front here. She'll come up shortly and talk to us. And we've also got Cherie over the back here. Cherie is leading our USHZone, our before school, after school care. And Cherie's going to come up shortly also and talk to us. I will come up again shortly, but that leaves me for now. But staff, thank you very much for coming up and being on show. And let's give them a clap. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Weeks. Now I invite Mrs. Avenzik, our junior school coordinator, to discuss some of the logistics of the junior school for next year.
Good evening, welcome. My name's Deanna. We're just going to talk a little bit about the housekeeping of the first week back at school. So speaking in particular to our kindy parents, with our kindies, they won't have a full first week in terms of full days. So for the first 3 days, Monday to Wednesday of that first week, the parents are going to be asked to book in for a time slot for each of for their son or their daughter to actually come in for a one-on-one interview with the teachers. So Daniela is going to send you out your codes so that when it's time to actually go online and book those in, you will have an opportunity to do those. Excuse me. For the first days of kindy, Thursday and Friday are going to be their half days, so they will come from 8:30 to 12:30. It's a big week for them, so they'll be pretty tired by the end, and their first full day then will be the following week. So we're going to ease them into it nice and slowly. Now for the rest of us, the first day in the first week, our day will run to these hours. So 8:30 is our school start. 10:30 is recess time, and 1 o'clock is lunch, and 3 o'clock we have the end of school. Now, it is a long block. That first block is 2 hours, so they will actually have an opportunity to stop and have a little munch and crunch break. So we'll speak to you about that, but packing, Mr. Miller, it's a new concept, isn't it? We need to have a little break. It's just something to stop and recharge the batteries, because it is a long time. So just packing something in their bag just to nibble on in that middle block. So on the first day, now we can imagine there's lots of parents here, and then we're going to multiply that by the children and the other parents who come. So it's going to be a busy day. All the students are going to arrive. We ask them to arrive at about 8:15 so that we're not rushing in the door. Everyone's settled, everyone's relaxed. So we ask them to arrive about 8:15, or you to arrive about 8:15. Now, all the teachers will be out and available at that time, so we'll direct you to where you need to go. There'll be cones that have the class labels on them so that the children will know where to go as well. But we'll be there to help you. If we look lost, maybe give us a little bit of direction as well, but we'll do our best on that day to get everyone in the right place. So if we can really aim just to get there on time, so that, you know, obviously there'll be more cars than usual for that first week or so. It will settle down as the weeks go on. But if we can just be patient with each other, dropping off and making sure that we have plenty of time to get settled, that would be great. With the junior school diary, those of you who have boys in the senior college will know that there is a diary, and we're actually going to have a diary for the children from kindergarten through to year 6. Now, obviously we're not going to be expecting the same level with kindergarten. They're not going to be writing their homework in it daily. It's really just there to provide an opportunity for the teachers and the parents to communicate. So if there are things that you'd like to communicate with a teacher, it's something that is uniform across the school that we can use. Obviously, as the grades move on from year 3 onwards, we will use it to include their homework, to help remind them of daily things that they need to bring, things that they're going to be doing. So they'll receive that on the first day of school next year. School calendar will be a K-12 calendar, so we'll receive the calendar, the same one as the college, and all of those dates will be outlined in there. So you'll receive that around January, thereabouts, and that will have all of the dates in there for the coming year. So I know that Joel has already forwarded some of those dates to you, but that's something that you might want to be prepare for events that are coming up that you might want to attend. Okay, so as I mentioned before, please just allow extra time on the day so that we are able to get in and out, plenty of time. It will be a kiss and drop zone inside the gates, so please be aware of that, and we'll all help each other to follow those rules. There will be staff member on duty, as I mentioned, just to help out from about 8 AM, and then there'll also be staff members in the afternoon. So we will be there to help direct. Okay, I'd like to just invite Cherie Milgate from USH, and she's going to talk a little bit about USH. Thanks.
Well, hello everyone. I'm very excited to be able to be your USH provider. I've been involved in childcare and looking after children and working with children with special needs for the past 32 years. But more recently, I've been the provider for USH Care at St Justin's. So we're in the same parish, which is really, really nice. And I'm so excited that it's a Catholic school that I'm going to be able to provide this care in, because that's what I'm passionate about, being able to freely talk about our faith with the children, so that all the same morals and values that are here at the college are going to be at Whoosh. So it's going to be a very positive, hopefully happy and vibrant place. I have a fantastic team of staff that absolutely love children, and I think that's the most important thing, is that you really like children. A lot of my staff are coming through they've gone through Catholic schools, and they're going to Catholic colleges to end up being Catholic teachers. So I get a lot of younger staff. The younger staff are coming through with that in mind. That's going to be their passion for life. And I've also got, we call it the Over 50s Club, because there's about half my staff are like me, over 50, and their children have already grown up and they still want to play with kids. Okay? I'll let you know that there's Australian national quality standards that all childcare centres in Australia are assessed by. In our first assessment, we gained meeting all of those quality standards. And 1/3 of centres don't meet that, but they still operate. So I'm very proud of the fact that our very first time that we were meeting all of those needs, all of those standards. And hopefully, when we get assessed here at St Greg's, we might even exceed some of them. That's what we're really trying to do, is exceed all of those quality standards. I'll just let you know that before and after school care is about leisure. It's not about extending their day in homework. Homework's for home, and before and after school care is about children actually having a bit of time out, a bit of leisure time, where they can have choices about what they do. So we provide so many choices, and they can choose to go and kick a ball, or they can choose to do some art and craft, they can build a cubby house, all of those sorts of things. And I'm also proud of the fact that we don't have technology. We don't have little devices for them to go and sit and just look at that device. It's very much about playing the old-fashioned way, where you look at people's faces and you negotiate the game, and you just play. So that's what Whoosh is about. Whoosh is about, it's a mandate from the government that we actually provide leisure choices for children. And so that's what we do. Okay, we're quite happy if children do have homework and they've got to go to karate and then they've got to go to dancing. We're quite happy to set up a space where they can do their homework, but we don't actually tutor them. Okay, so that's part of what we do. We give them a space, but because they may have to go to other activities, or otherwise they do their homework at home with their parents, so that you know what's going on at school. Okay, we will be offering. We will be open in the mornings from 6:30. For all those people that work in the city and have to get on trains or whatever. And our changeover time to the staff here will be 8 o'clock. That's when the school staff will take over. And then in the afternoons, school ends at 3. The staff are still on duty till 3:30, and we get the children at 3:30, and we have them until 6:30 at night. So that's the service that's available. We also give the children breakfast, a variety of 4-star cereals, which Mr. Miller was very impressed by, the fact that you could get 4-star cereals. And we have toast and pancakes or fruit or whatever in the mornings. And in the afternoons, there's always fruit or vegetables, and then there's a nutritious snack as well. So we make little, pikelets, or we might, sometimes in the winter we'll make soups, and we'll make fried rice, or just a little something for their tummies, but not enough that they won't eat their dinner, hopefully. Okay? And a few people have already sent emails to me with their enrolment forms. I'm quite happy to, if anybody's brought their enrolment form tonight and that needs the service, you can just come and have a chat with me afterwards. If you haven't enrolled and you think, oh, I don't need that, that's fine, but it's a good thing to have up your sleeve, that if you, all of a sudden, an emergency's happened and you can't get to pick your child up, and I'm stuck in the city, or my husband's, something's happened, you've already enrolled, and you can just email us and say, is it okay for Joey to come to Whoosh this afternoon? And we can let you know, yes, that's fine. It's just a good thing to have up your sleeve. The last thing is that people that come to our service are also eligible for the government rebate, and so that's where, at the moment, the government pays half your fees if you're registered for that. At the moment, that's not means tested, so that's a really good thing to know as well. So if you need to talk to me, I'll be over on the side there. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Milgate. It is a reality check when you open the door to the uniform shop to see girls' dresses and hair accessories. We are all looking forward to seeing our young students in their uniforms next year. Could I now please invite Mrs. Landrigan to the lectern to speak about the junior school uniforms?
Good evening, parents. I think I'm probably the luckiest person in the room because I get the pleasure of seeing your children when they're at their most excited in coming to school. In our shop, there's no homework, there's no expectation. They get to have a bit of fun, but most importantly, it's their first journey into junior school. They're excited, they're dying to see the uniform. The boys might not be so keen on those hair accessories, but it has been the highlight for Mr. Miller, and needless to say, the highlight for all the girls coming through too. I've had the absolute pleasure of managing the uniform shop here for over 3 years. It was a job that I took on because I too was looking for something different in my life, and I could have never expected to have loved my job as much as I do. It's been a pleasure to help the boys from year 7 to 12 over those 3 years, and have made some fairly good solid friendships out of that with some of the parents. There's obviously a boarding community here, so there are times where as a uniform shop we have to do extra. We are open Tuesdays and Thursdays from 8 till 4, but you can imagine a family that's travelling for 5 hours to get here to put their son in a uniform which only takes 20 minutes. It would be unfair of me to expect them to do that when I only live 10 minutes around the corner, and they need to be here at a different time. So our service levels are high. We ensure that your child has a wonderful time in that uniform shop, and I do my best as a working parent to find flexibility to help you wherever I can. We take pride in the uniform. There is a certain look and there is a standard that's here at the college already, and we hope to maintain that through the junior school as well. As parents, that will be up to you as much as it is up to us to ensure that we guide you in regards to how it fits, how it looks best, and how to take care of the garments as well. The dresses especially, strong, bold colours, beautiful navy school hats, and we obviously want to ensure that they stay in their best condition, so we will guide you at your fitting. I've obviously had the pleasure of meeting some of you already. We kind of started our fittings last week. The big week is this Thursday. This is where it really kicks off, where we will see a lot of you throughout the day. So for those of you who don't know how the fitting works, basically it's about 20 minutes, and that is pretty quick. In that time, we'll fit your child for their summer uniform and their sport uniform. We're not looking at winter at this point in time, and I'll be honest with you, some of the stock isn't even here as yet. The focus is on making sure your child is ready and excited and happy for day one. So needless to say, we understand as well that this side of Christmas, that's a big financial strain on some of you, so we're offering a full no deposit lay-by service. We are open in school holidays. Every school holidays we're open, bar term 2 to term 3. That's a pause that we enjoy based on the fact that, needless to say, your child is wearing winter and transitions into winter going into term 3. So we take a small break. The break is not for me at Christmas time, I assure you. So we are open in January, and as you come through for your fitting, we'll advise you of all those hours. So therefore, if you take up the offer of the lay-by service, then needless to say, there's plenty of time in January to come and collect that. So I mentioned our shop hours, Tuesdays and Thursdays 8 till 4. The key thing is for me for tonight, though, to see most of you, especially for those of you who do not have a fitting appointment as yet. So all of you were emailed. For anyone that is a late enrolment by any chance and have not received an email or have not noticed that they got an email, or have just forgotten their appointment, which is also okay, then needless to say, I have the schedule with me. So the priority for me tonight is to make sure that I do see all of your children prior to Christmas. And I understand we're working parents, and sometimes that's not so easy. But it is really important that we make sure that we see your children before Christmas. If there are any shortfalls in stock, it's a priority for me to make sure we do top-up orders, get them in, and on day one, be part of the journey with the staff to watch those beautiful children all walk in, all looking amazing, all looking beautiful, and being ready to start and focus on their education and not how long their dress is or whether their shirt's tucked in. So if there are any questions or any concerns, please let me know, and I will be here tonight as well till the end. The one thing and the small favour I will ask of you all is it is an exciting time. I'm with you on that. I enjoy seeing their beautiful faces come through. The only favour I'll ask is at your fitting. It's lovely to have grandma there, great to have grandpa, great to have the aunts and the uncles too, but the shop isn't enormous and the children can sometimes be really overwhelmed by the experience. I brought in a teddy bear Elvis toy that I've got that if you press his leg he sings a great tune. Bit of an Elvis fan, the children probably don't know who he is, but needless to say. My priority is to make sure that time that your child is with me is exciting. This is their first step. If they're excited wearing their uniform, they'll be excited coming to school next year, which is what you want them to be. So please, if grandma wants to come, it's okay. But if grandpa wants to come and the aunts and the uncles, it can get overwhelming for the child. So please, let's keep it quiet, let's keep it fun, let's keep it organised, and let's just make sure that they have a beautiful time with us in the shop, and we'll ensure that, needless to say, it'll be a smooth process for you too. I've dealt with tears. I have children of my own, and the boys here have cried many a time too, so I assure you I've dealt with those too. I will also mention that just to give a little bit of a story, 2 years ago we did have a boy that was very apprehensive about coming into year 7 at St Greg's. It wasn't his choice, it was his mother's. So he didn't come out of the car for the fitting, Mum did. So I tried to work out how to help that situation. Needless to say, I said to Mum, don't worry, it's all good, he'll come out soon. He wasn't coming out, so I phoned Mr Brennan, who was here on the premises at the time. It was over a holiday period. So needless to say, Mr Brennan came down. They walked through the school, they spent some time together, they chatted. I couldn't get him into the shop until everybody else had left. So needless to say, we stayed back. He got in, he put the uniform on very reluctantly. He wasn't happy about any of the process. I said to Mum, keep the faith. It'll all work out. It'll be the best decision you've made for him. 3 years later, I think he's in year 9 at this point in time. The happiest kid I've ever seen. Loves St Greg's passionately. So we will go over and above to try and make your child have a happy experience in that uniform shop. So please, again, just when it comes to bringing all the relatives, let's try and do that a little bit. Maybe take photos and send that to them or something like that. So just again, if there are any queries or questions, the fitting schedule's in my hand. Happy to let you know where we're at. And please just enjoy your time at St Gregory's Junior School. Thanks.
Thank you, Mrs. Ledgerton. I would like to welcome back Mr. Weeks to the stage to talk about some more information about the junior school.
A few quick shots there. These are a couple of little people who've had their fittings over the last week or so. A couple of them being sent through. Little Polly in the middle there, little Mitch. And a few from earlier in the year. Fantastic to see. A few things I just want to quickly talk about. One is the parent handbook. Tonight you're going to get a package with a fair few things in it. One is an information book. It's a bit of a one-stop shop. Hopefully we've got a good snapshot of everything that's in there. Logistical information about how things are going to run. Lots of information from Ushzone and Sandra in the uniform shop. All those things put together, how things are actually going to run. It's a nice big booklet that you'll be able to read through at your leisure. If you have any questions with that, you know how to contact me. Just get me on the email. I'm more than happy to chat through that. Parent forums. You would have seen Sue here tonight. Obviously, Damien is a part of parent forums next year. We don't have a PNF, and we won't have a PNF. But what we will have is a parent forum where each term we'll have we'll have 2 parent forums, one for K to 2 parents and one for 3 to 6, where we'll talk about the school, how it's going, the different events and things that are going on, but it's also an opportunity for you to ask questions. Not on a personal level about your son or daughter, but a general question about how the school is going or some more information you want about this or that. So that'll happen. They'll be in the calendars, which is also in the parent booklet. Sport and co-curricular. As you know, we've got 2 sport systems we're a part of. One's the CEO Dyson Sport, which will be our swimming, cross-country, athletics representative pathway. The other one is our IPSO, Local Independent Sporting Association, which we'll do on a Wednesday afternoon. Between recess and lunch is our Year 3 to 4 sport. After lunch will be our Year 5 to 6 competitive sport. The boys and girls who don't make the competitive teams or don't like competitive sports, they'll stay at school and do school sport. So for all of us, of a Wednesday is our sport day. So every Wednesday, your son, your daughter can wear their sport uniform all day, okay, to and from school. In terms of co-curricular, that timetable's been put together. In the booklet, there's some samples of what we will be doing, but there's going to be more to that as well. As we sit with the staff and actually develop a timetable and what that looks like, there'll be before school, there'll be after school, and there'll be during school co-curricular activities. Okay. Transport, we're currently liaising with the bus companies. They've got all your data, so thank you very much for the surveys, those parents who filled out bus surveys. In the package is an Opal card. You'll need to fill that form out, which will also go down to the bus companies. So your son or your daughter will get a Opal card. The other thing is we'll get a bus timetable out to you shortly. How that's going to work, the bus companies will come back to us, tell us how many buses we're going to get, and logistically we'll have to look at how that actually works. Whether that's they're actually driving around to the junior school, whether they're going to the junior school first, whether we're bringing them over here. We'll work out that depending on numbers as soon as we get told by the bus companies how many buses we're getting for each area that we're going to. In your package is a family shield. This was an idea from Ben. He's brought it along from his school. We'd like every family between now and the start of next year to design a family shield. We've actually put a sample in the package for you, where you get to write a little prayer for your family. You get to show us what some of your key or core family values are, and you'll be able to put a photo on there of your family. And we're actually going to put that somewhere in the junior school as, I suppose, a little bit of a memento actually coming into the school for the first time. And that'll go down when your son or your daughter leaves in Year 6. Okay, so great little idea that Ben's brought along, and that's in the package. If you could bring that back in the first week or so of school, we'll start putting those up around the school. And a reminder about this Thursday. Let me talk a little bit about Thursday. We'll come in here. I want you to come and sit down with your son and with your daughter. I'll introduce to everyone the staff again, the classroom teachers. We'll start with Year 6. Okay, so we'll start with Mr. Hayes. Here he is. Mr. Hayes will take his Year 6 boys away. It's an all-boys class. And they'll be going up to the science labs. A lot of our classes will be going straight across here into the Marion Centre, our library. Our kindergarten kids are just going to go next door. We've got a room next door we call the Hermitage, so they're not going to be far away. Now, kindy parents, I know there's a bit of anxiousness leaving your son or leaving your daughter for the first time. You are able to take your son and your daughter in there. So you can walk in there, wait till they're settled, and the teachers will let you know when it's time for you to go. If your son or your daughter are settled very quickly, feel free to just sneak out. Okay, they'll be in there for about 45 minutes to an hour. Okay, to get to know your son's teacher, your daughter's teacher, and parents. You can come out and have a coffee and biscuit just out in the foyer out here. So we'll just wait out here. 5:30 will come along, and the staff will bring your kids back to you. When your son or your daughter arrives, they'll get a badge, a little sticker. It'll have a colourful code on it. Basically, what's going to happen, that's a code for their class, and that's where they'll be going. So if they look like they're lost, there's plenty of staff that'll be floating around actually making sure they're in the right location. As parents, you'll also get one. The reason why? The red dots, we want to see who the red dots are. So parents will start to learn who is in your son or your daughter's class. Okay, it's a good way to meet people, introduce yourself, use that time to actually meet other parents who are going through the same thing. And I know some parents are looking forward to actually establishing things like play dates and things over the break, so they can, for those anxious kids, to actually start those relationships that way. One thing I want us to try and avoid is this. The anxious mum, the anxious dad at the gate. okay? They pick up things really quickly. Try and be as positive as possible, okay? I know some of you are very anxious. Be excited, be a part of it with them, talk to them about it. Some of them are very excited, they know lots of people, they're going to be fine. 9 times out of 10, the kids are fine, sometimes it's the mum and dads that are quite anxious. So let's try and avoid the worried looks at the gate. And the last one's music. Last time I met you for the reporting workshop, we were sitting on the fence with music and what that might look like. Since then, we've had a chat with Sally Quinella from Bandemonium, and that's the path we're actually taking next year. As we don't have instruments ready, we don't have the full facility of music for next year. Sally hires instruments, Sally rents instruments, she sells instruments. You don't have to get instruments from Sally, but she'll be running 2 programs, 2 band programs, one for students who are already in bands, who already play music, who would like to actually get a band up and running, and the other one's a training band. A band where kids want to play in a band or want to play an instrument but have never played before or lack experience, only just started. So there's those 2 options. It's about $14.50 a week. They get a band rehearsal and they also get a tutorial. Okay, that's an option for families who want their son or their daughter to actually learn an instrument. Options for that are available. There's something in the information pack for you, and I know Sally's got some other information for parents who actually want to take up that later on in terms of experience they've got, how long they've been playing, where they've been playing, but all that information's to come. Over the coming months, we'll get a co-curricular survey out to you because we want to find out what kids are interested in, what sports they're interested in, what music they're interested in, and actually how we develop that co-curricular program for the school. So that's all coming through the office of Daniela there as well. Other than that, Mr. Miller, I might invite you up just to close for this evening. But thanks everyone, great to see you. Staff will be hanging around for a few minutes at the end, so if you've got any questions, feel free to come up. But great to see you, great to see some smiling faces, great to see some kids in the audience as well, so well done.
He showed you that picture up there of anxiety. The other day I was doing a tour after school. I do this on Friday afternoons, and there were about 4 families who came down from St Christopher's at Holsworthy, and they brought their children with them. They were from Year 6 down to Year 2, and they were doing the tour with me. The tour goes for about an hour and a half, so you can imagine how the kids were feeling after the first hour or so. And it got to the stage where they were sort of around my legs and everywhere near me. And at one stage I thought I was going to go over backwards for sure. And I thought, so when you're talking about anxiety, I understand what you're talking about. And Barry Graham, who's our acting deputy at the moment, he thinks he's got a sense of humour, and he was telling the staff this the other day, then said it'd be wonderful to catch a photo of Damien tying up a young lady or young boy's shoelace over in the kindergarten area. I thought, yeah, we'll wait and see that. But anyway, when we talk about the K-12 side of it, and that's why I thought it was important to get Mitch here tonight. He's our college captain, and Lachlan is one of our leaders as well. They're both boarders, they live on site, and it was easy to get them, and I appreciate them being here tonight because they'll both tell me they've got PE assessments tomorrow and they're just dying to get back to the boarding house to get on with it, and that's a serious comment. I'm not joking on that one. I'm correct, aren't I? Yes. But also on Thursday night, we've brought in, I asked Mitch this morning, I said, go and find 8 gentlemen, I want them here on Thursday night to meet your sons and daughters and to go off with the various teachers for the various classes. And he came back to me by lunchtime and told me, yes, I've got the 8, they're all lined up. We've had to look at who's going to sport and what we're doing, but he tells me it's all in hand and I trust him. He's a good leader and I'm sure he'll do the right thing. But the reason I'm doing that is because I want to make sure that your sons and daughters just don't think they're just junior school. I want these gentlemen over there getting involved in it so they can see it is the whole thing. It's K-12. And I think when Joel just mentioned that Bandemonium, for those who have seen Bandemonium, they have about 150 children here on the last night of that, and they have them all up on the stage. I mean, my dream would be to have the junior school, the senior school, and we have enough playing the instruments so they get up there on the stage. You've heard our band, you know how good it is, and I think it's important that we put it out there so the junior school can aspire to be part of that, because it is really something good to be part of. Having said that, I just thank the staff for being here. I know they're coming back again on Thursday night again. I know they're coming back a week early because they're that excited about having your sons and daughters next year. And the fact that they're prepared to give up a week of their holiday, I'm really impressed with that. So we're very fortunate to have such an enthusiastic, and let's use that word again, excited. It's wonderful to see. But also to Sandra, she does an amazing job up there in that uniform shop. Everything she said I would back up there tonight. I actually went in there, I think it was last Thursday, and I saw young Ashley Colborne up there, and she was the first young lady I've seen in the dress. And I would agree with Sandra, she looked absolutely lovely. She was swirling around, didn't all those sort of things they do. But she looked absolutely great, and Mum and Dad were so pleased. They had the two brothers as well, one in Year 7, one going into Year 6, and they were all in uniform, and it just looked a lovely family photo. But Sandra does a fantastic job up there, and I think actually that's the other thing I've noticed in the uniform shop. The ladies, Amanda and Edelyn, they were both down on their knees. I've never seen them on their knees up there because we're all 6 foot or 7 foot up there. So to see them come in for the primary and trying to work out the lengths of these dresses and things from the knee height, I thought, oh my God. But anyway, that's what you do with junior schools. I understand that. And to Cherie, thank you for coming along tonight and talking about the USH. The fact that you said your staff is over 50, there's nothing wrong with that. It's a wonderful idea. It's very experienced, obviously, and we can go with that idea. But once again, thank you very much for coming along tonight. The packs are down at the back for you, and if you pick those up, all that information is in there for you. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ring Joel. One of the boys, if I could relate it to you, when he first arrived, one of my characters in Year 12, who's got a bit of personality, went up to him and said, "What do you actually do all day, sir? You actually don't have any children, you don't have a building, and you don't have any parents. What do you actually do all day?" Now, that was Christian. He's obviously Mr. Personality, but I know he's done a lot of work since then, and I'm very appreciative of his leadership of what's been going on and the work that he's done. Once again, good night. Thank you for coming along. We'll see you on Thursday afternoon.